I just need to look at it. Thank you.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
Great. Can you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Spiro Pezes.
Thank you. In front of me, it's the 21st day of January of this year. You issued a citation, failed to yield. Do you wish to maintain the plea of not guilty?
Yes, not guilty.
And if you have a record here, if those in support of the citation, if you could please state your name for the record.
Corporal Desirae Krouse.
Can you spell that, please? Can you spell your last name, please?
It's Krouse.
Can you say corporal?
Yes, sir.
Next, please.
Deputy Natalie Neiman, Nieman.
Next, please.
Deputy Demetrius Antoniadis, Antoniadis.
Okay. Okay, if everyone will raise their right hands, please. You swear and affirm that the evidence and testimony you're about to give in this case will be the full truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes.
Thank you. Just wait a second, I'm going to get a printed copy for me.
Yes.
I have a copy here if you like it.
Just waiting on Matt.
Okay.
It's kind of small.
Okay, I've read the citation. Whichever law enforcement officer or deputy would like to go first. Corporal?
On January 21st, 2023, at a little after 9 o'clock in the morning, I was working at Port Terminal 2, which is at 651 Channelside Drive in Tampa. We're in off-duty capacity working traffic at the port. I observed a blue Honda coming across Channelside Drive into the path of the transit trolley. Myself and the witnesses were giving multiple commands for the vehicle to stop with our arms out with the universal stop sign, yelling for it to stop. Trolley was sounding its alarm that it was approaching and the vehicle was approaching into its right of way. Vehicle continued to move forward towards us despite multiple signs to stop and yelling stop and then pointing to the trolley that was approaching. The vehicle continued to move until the trolley had to come to a stop, violating its right of way. He just missed the trolley, which was full of passengers, along with his vehicle that had passengers. The trolley was able to pass, the vehicle pulled forward, stopped, we met with the driver. He was not receptive to anything we had to say about his improper driving. He moved off the tracks, met with him, he identified himself with the Florida driver's license after asking for his license 5 times. I then asked for the registration of the vehicle, which he refused to provide. Driver was positively identified and cited with failure to yield to a public transit vehicle.
Just 2 quick questions. Were you in uniform?
I was in uniform.
And is that person in the courtroom, is he present today?
Yes, sir. He's right here.
All right, let the record reflect you identified this gentleman. Anything further? Anything further, or are you finished?
I'm finished with the violation, yes, sir.
Okay, next witness, please.
Working Port Terminal 2 that day, shortly after 9 o'clock, the oncoming trolley gave multiple commands for the car to stop because the trolley is approaching. Continued to come forward, again to stop, We were asked why we were yelling at him. He continued through. At that point, I maintained my position at the drive of the terminal.
Any further? Next witness?
Your Honor, I was working at Port Terminal 2, Port Tampa Bay, the same capacity off duty. I was at the mouth of the driveway, and I saw and heard the train coming. I was alerted to the incident as the two deputies to my, or corporal and deputy to my left, were vocal for a vehicle to stop. Repeatedly, the vehicle was coming towards the entrance of the driveway, and the trolley was coming as well. The vehicle finally came to rest facing southbound, with the rear of the vehicle facing northbound, and it's in the eastbound lane of Channelside Drive. Traffic at that location runs east and west, and the vehicle was facing north and south, facing southbound. I heard the officers being vocal and verbal for the vehicle to stop. And then after the trolley went by, I believe Corporal Krouse asked the vehicle to pull over and continue with a traffic stop. I had other things to look at. I just kept one eye on them for officer safety and one eye on everybody else.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so I think this side is finished.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Officer Jones.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'd like to lay some groundwork, foundational work, and then get to the citations. Therefore, please bear with me. Okay, I'm the defendant in this case, and I'm here to challenge the validity of the citation. As I present my defense, I will show the court clear and convincing evidence that the citation is invalid. It was an unlawful traffic stop. Hillsborough County Sheriff Office Officer Krouse violated my United States constitutional rights and the comparable provisions of the Florida Constitution, and was a retaliatory stop due to my First Amendment comment to Officer Krouse. There's no need to be rude. The officer in this case had no probable cause. I did not fail to yield or stop. And as mentioned, I will present evidence to prove my case. I'd like to ask the Officer Krouse questions now. Officer Krouse, would you please state your name again, first and last name?
It's Corporal Desirae Krouse.
Okay, what is your educational background?
I possess a bachelor's degree.
Okay, is English your primary language?
It is
Okay, how long have you been a sworn law enforcement officer?
17 years.
Have you received ethics training as a police officer?
Yes.
Have you received any type of code of conduct training as a police officer?
I don't recall anything of that title.
Okay, something similar to that, code of conduct, ethics?
I don't have an answer for you. I already answered about ethics.
Okay, have you received constitutional rights training?
Yes.
Are you aware of the Fourth Amendment?
Yes.
Okay, can you explain briefly what the Fourth Amendment is?
Your Honor,
I have a right to due process, Your Honor. If she refuses to answer, that's a separate story.
Civil traffic infraction.
It's not a simple traffic citation, Your Honor.
I didn't say simple, I said civil.
How about the First Amendment?
Excuse me for a second. I'll sustain the objection.
Okay.
Your Honor, might I add, there's an active IA investigation going on right now, so I don't want to answer too many questions since I'm under oath.
Have you been trained in traffic laws and traffic stops as a police officer?
Yes.
Have you been trained in de-escalation techniques?
Yes.
Am I correct that you're also trained as a detective, meaning you know how to investigate situations, evidence gathering, etc.?
Yes.
Are you aware that you've done about 200 courses in the past few years with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office?
That sounds correct.
Have you received training in body camera procedures?
This goes back to the IA investigation, Your Honor.
That's a yes or no?
To
I'll
not,
sustain the objection.
Okay. I subpoenaed you to bring your body cam footage from that day. Did you bring that body cam footage with you?
I didn't receive a subpoena for that, Your Honor.
If you look in the record, Your Honor, I'll go to the docket. It will clearly show, if I may, and I will give Krouse.
I apologize, he's correct, I do. And I don't have body camera footage for that.
Okay, so you did not take any body camera footage, am I correct?
Again, this goes back to our active case, so
I
I'll
think the
discuss this.
question was asked and answered. She said she had no body cam.
Okay.
She has no footage. That's what I heard.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you remember the incident on January 21st, 2023, between you and I?
Yes.
Did you write me a citation?
I issued a citation.
Okay. Do you believe that the citation you wrote was accurate and lawful?
Yes.
Did you access the DAVID system, driver and vehicle information database, to obtain my information?
Yes.
Was the citation you wrote me out of retaliation and anger due to my statement to you when I said there's no need to be rude?
No.
Okay. Did you identify yourself at the traffic stop?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what did you say?
Sir, I was wearing a uniform with my name tag. You asked for my name, I told you my name, and when I presented you with the citation, I pointed where my name was at the bottom so you could have it.
Okay. Did you state that I would be arrested for obstruction if I did not give you my license?
No, I did not say you would be arrested for obstruction. I said you're borderline obstructing now.
Why did you not answer me when I asked you what I had done wrong?
I don't recall you asking that, sir. You were quite hostile during the entire interaction.
Do you remember me telling you you had no probable cause?
I do remember you telling me that.
Why did you not call your supervisor when I requested a supervisor 9 times?
Well, I told you that I am a supervisor, and I told you how you can contact the sheriff's office, but I don't call a supervisor to a scene because you demand it.
Well, why did you state when you gave me the citation that I have 3 points on my license? And can you produce any documents that show you placed 3 points on my license?
Yeah, I said this citation has 3 points, and by going to driving school, you could remove the points.
Do you realize I have video footage of this incident?
Sir, I was very aware of the camera you had directly in front of my face during our interaction.
Why did you not explain to me my rights when you gave me the citation?
Because you were hostile and aggressive and abusive, and you were not receptive to anything I said.
But is it not?
Sir, part of my de-escalation would be to not engage with you any further and to handle this in court.
So did you violate policy on that day?
No, sir.
Did you follow your training on that day and
Sir,
follow the
this gets
standard?
back- This is going to go back to an active investigation. I'm not going to.
Okay, that's fine. Have you ever instructed or trained other officers in the use of body cameras?
Not answering this one either.
Who else have you ever given a citation for the same statute you cited?
Are you objecting?
Yes, sir.
Because I saw you shaking your head.
I've written hundreds of citations over 17 years. I regularly do traffic enforcement. I can't tell you what I have. I have several violation of right-of-way citations in my career.
Okay, so the citation states as follows, and if you don't have a copy of it, I think you do have a copy. The citation states, failure to yield to public transit vehicles, failed to yield to trolley, despite multiple law enforcement officers directing him to stop, nearly causing a collision with passengers in the vehicle.
That's correct.
Would an accurate statement be that the word failure means did not do, or omission of a required action?
Yes.
Would this be an accurate statement based on your training and experience that yield means give to the right of way?
You did not give to the right-of-way, and
No,
yes.
I'm just asking you what the question is here. Please don't ad-lib with my question. Does yield also mean let other road users go first?
Your Honor, I'm not here to explain all the wording in a traffic citation to him. That's not
I want her-
my job.
I'd like to know if the officer understands what she wrote in the citation before I put a video up on the screen.
Okay, I'm going to sustain the objection. I think it's been asked and answered.
Okay? You stated, if I'm correct, and we have it all on record, that, did you, forgive me if I'm ad-libbing here, but did you say that the horn did not go off? The whistle or the horn on the streetcar sounded? Is that correct?
Yes, that's what it said.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Excuse me, for the record, you want to identify, you're sharing a copy with her now? okay?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure she was.
Would you take that,
receiving a
please?
copy of what you're handing me.
Okay, this is a public records request from the streetcar number 430, which was headed south at the traffic circle at 9:12 a.m., driven by motorman Ralph Rosado. Okay?
Yes, sir?
So in this right here, I had asked the Hillsborough Transit Authority if a horn was sounded. I might have the wrong document here. So the motorman was questioned and asked if he sounded the whistle, and he stated no. Okay? And we'll see it in a minute on the video if there's a sound of a whistle.
You're having streetcars sound at the aquarium and the crosswalks. And there are two out there.
Before I continue, I'd like to submit notarized witness affidavits.
Excuse me, did you want to enter this as an exhibit, or did you want me to hand this back to you, sir?
No, I have 3 copies. That's for the court, or you can throw that one away, Your Honor.
Okay.
You don't want it? Okay, you don't want it? That's fine.
Excuse me,
Can you hand
for
that
the record, I'm
to
gonna-
the owner?
There's no objection, I'm going to hand this to the clerk and
Yes,
call
sir.
it defendant's exhibit 1.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if Officer Krouse would like a copy, I'll give her a copy, but if she's being difficult here, then so be it. This is a witness affidavit from from a lady named Dolores Conyer that was in the vehicle with me.
Excuse me, have you had a chance to give a copy to,
I tried, she refused to take it.
Sir, I didn't know what he was handing me.
May I give
have
this
an
to you,
extra
sir?
copy for her?
If you could give this to the officer here.
And what is this?
This is a witness affidavit on the day in question.
Sure, thank you.
Do you want us to read this now, or do you want us to read it?
I can go through this in a second. Let me ask Officer Krouse, were you working with Deputy Ortiz on that day?
There was a Deputy Ortiz present that day.
Okay. So let me go to the witness
Can we hold
affidavit.
on a minute? I'm trying to read this
Okay.
exhibit that we handed us. Can I clarify who this person is?
If you'll just give me a second to finish reading it, please. Okay, you want to comment, please?
Who is this person in relationship to this event?
It says my son-in-law on the second line.
But where was this person out in the vehicle, is what I'm
She was driving in the vehicle.
That you were driving the vehicle?
She was driving in the vehicle.
She was riding in the vehicle
That's
as a
correct.
passenger. In the front seat or the back seat?
Irrelevant.
Okay, did you wish to have this submitted as defendant?
Yes, please.
Number 2?
May I offer you another witness statement? And if you could give this to Deputy Krouse. If you'd like me to give it to you, I'll gladly give it to you.
You can give it to him, and my name's Corporal Krouse.
You're Officer Krouse.
Sir, I'm
If
gonna
you
ask
would give that to
you
Officer
refrain-
Krouse, please.
Sir, I'm going to ask
I'll
you
give it to
refrain from personal
Deputy,
comments
Corporal.
like that.
Deputy,
Krouse.
officer,
Corporal.
no offense, but to me, the officer, law enforcement officer is how I refer to people usually.
We're going to be respectful in the courtroom, so she's
Well-
identified herself as corporal.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
think she should be referred to as such.
Point well taken. So this is an affidavit here from Margaret O'Neill, who is driving in the vehicle as well. It is a notarized document.
Okay, so on this next affidavit by this Margaret, I think O'Neill,
Correct?
you'd like this to be received in?
Yes, please.
We'll call this defendant's number 3? That's number 3, right?
When I'm able to continue, I will, as long as Corporal Krouse has finished reading.
Okay. Please continue.
Okay, forgive me, I'm trying to wrap my words to make sure I call this lady here by the proper title. Corporal Krouse, in your traffic control courses, have you completed a course in establishing the visual speed of a vehicle?
Yes.
What is the maximum speed of the streetcar?
I don't have an answer for you.
Okay. How fast was the streetcar going when it approached where you were and where I was?
I was watching your vehicle. I wasn't watching the trolley. I saw the
Okay.
trolley coming and just making sure you saw
Okay,
me.
so did you see the trolley coming fast or slow?
The trolley was stopping while it was sounding.
So the trolley, so...
The trolley was coming to a stop because you were violating its right of
Okay,
way.
so did it, you said earlier that it stopped, am I correct?
It had to stop.
Okay. Must a citizen follow traffic instructions from an officer?
Yes.
Okay. You are aware that Deputy Ortiz directed me to proceed where you were, so I was following his instructions. Is that correct?
I'm not here to speak for Deputy Ortiz.
No. You are aware. Are you aware?
No.
Okay. Does the streetcar have unimpeded movement like a locomotive or a train, or must the streetcar also follow all the traffic laws?
I believe, Your Honor, the streetcars fall under the same guidelines as railroad. They have the right of way regardless. Now granted, the streetcar has the ability to slow down unlike a full train. Trains fall on, streetcars fall under the same guidelines or category, if you will, I believe, as trains do.
Okay, can I go back to the Hillsborough County Transit document? On the page there, I asked the,
Go to defendant's 1.
my apology.
Go ahead, sir.
I had requested any reports, notes, comments, or other relevant information made by any person, but not limited to the driver or passengers, if there was anything reported for that day. And the response I got was nothing was reported. Okay? On the bottom of the second page, the sound of the whistle will be distinct with intensity and duration proportionate to the distance the signal is to be conveyed. Florida statute 316.121. I may have a copy here, but I'm not sure.
I already have it. Vehicles approaching or entering intersections.
The driver of a vehicle approaching an intersection shall yield the right-of-way to a vehicle which has entered the intersection from a different highway. Hart, Hillsborough Transit Authority has stated that the trolley must follow all the traffic laws as any other motor vehicle or a bus in Tampa. Deputy Krouse, my apologies. Corporal Krouse has stated that, or, I'm sorry, it was the gentleman on the right there. The gentleman on the right there says it has the same, it has to follow the same rules as a it operates the same as a locomotive with unimpeded, forgive me if I'm getting this wrong, unimpeded movement. Hillsborough Transit Authority has stated that's not correct. They have to stop for pedestrians, they have to slow down, they have to take evasive action, etc. I brought the video, and last time I was here, the hearing officer stated that we could play it on the screen. And as a backup, I brought 3 copies in case you needed to give the other copies out. And all that's on there is the video from the dash cam, the forward and rear facing dash cam that I obtained from the Hillsborough Transit Authority. At first it will show the forward-facing dash cam. And what I'd like the court to note, several things as the video is being played. First of all, Corporal Krouse, I want to say this in a way that doesn't upset you, did not tell the truth. The trolley did not stop. The trolley did not employ its whistle. The trolley slowed down to 3 miles per hour, and I did stop. Even though I was ordered by Deputy Ortiz that was standing in the road, which you'll see on the top right of the video, he told me to go that way. Unfortunately, Corporal Krouse was standing right between the cones, so I couldn't proceed anyhow. So I had stopped. Whenever you're ready.
Ready, sir?
I don't know if the television's on or not.
Should be. Hang on.
There is a light on there, though.
Yeah, there he is. Hang on. Let me stop this real quick. I don't know if he turned it off, the other officer when he left. See what happens there.
Now you'll see my, can you pause it right there? Okay, if you notice the color of my vehicle, Corporal Krouse said I was driving a blue vehicle. Clearly, that vehicle is not blue. It's gray. Not that it makes too much of a difference. Continue, please, sir. So at this moment, the trolley or streetcar is traveling at 8 miles per hour. If you look to the top right, you'll see my gray Honda on the top right there. And if you look closely, you'll see Deputy Ortiz directing me twice, by the way, because I asked him twice which way to go. The trolley slows down now to approximately 3 miles per hour. See, he just pointed, told me which way to go. I traveled probably about 15 feet, and I stopped. You can see on the left side there, these 3 officers here. Corporal Krouse is the 3rd officer standing between the orange cones. And now the streetcar speeds up. This is a view from the rear dash cam of the trolley. What I'd like you to notice, there is no whistle, and this is sound. That's my vehicle right there entering. It's not finished yet. Note that the vehicle yields and stops, and notice that the streetcar did not stop, although I know the video, you stopped the video.
Yeah.
And the whistle was never sounded, which coincides with Mr. Rosado, who was the motorman on number 430. If I had failed to yield and I kept going, how could I have driven behind the streetcar? Now, as you can see here, I'm not too far away. I am a certified, state-certified building contractor, state-certified roofing contractor, and a state-certified air conditioning contractor. And the reason I say that is I'm fully aware of distances because I use distances in my career for over 20 years. So you can see the vehicle did not continue as Corporal Krouse stated. And you can see that I passed behind the trolley, or streetcar. Hart calls it trolley. No, Hart calls it streetcar. It should continue in a second. If you wouldn't mind rewinding that, because I think that's all that's there at the moment. And I'd like the hearing officer to see if Corporal Krouse's testimony that the trolley, if I'm correct, had to stop and sounded its whistle. There is sound here, no whistle, did not stop. And if you notice there's pedestrians walking ahead there, and the streetcar would have had to have stopped should pedestrians have been in the crosswalk, which is customary for Tampa streetcars. You can stop it right there. Now, Corporal Krouse, the citation that you issued quoted Florida statute 316.015 subparagraph 1.
No,
It says it right there.
no, you read it wrong. 316.081. 316.0815.
That's what I thought I said.
No, you left out the 8.
Okay, 316.0815, subparagraph 1.
That's correct.
So that statute, and correct me if I'm wrong, states the driver of a vehicle shall yield to the right-of-way to a publicly owned transit bus traveling in the same direction which has signaled and is re-entering the traffic flow from a specifically designated pull-out bay. It seems that, and maybe it's a little bit of semantics, by the way, it also says in the subparagraph 2 of that, this section does not relieve the driver of a public transit bus from the duty to drive with due regard for the safety of all persons using the roadway. Okay, so this statute does not necessarily indicate that that is a locomotive or has unimpeded movement. It says that the public transit bus, which falls under this particular statute, has a duty to drive with due regard for the safety of all persons using the roadway. So here's my question. Do you still maintain that the streetcar stopped, Corporal Krouse?
I still maintain my stance. As you saw in the video, I had to walk towards your vehicle and walk in front of the trolley. And they did use due care because then they stopped so that they didn't hit me or you.
Okay.
If you continue to pull forward.
Okay, forgive me, but you had stated under oath today that the streetcar, or I think the word you used, the trolley, stopped.
Yeah, I believed it stopped, yes.
Okay, can we play that video one more time, Mr. Bailiff? And you had stated also, so we can get two things out of the way, that the whistle did sound. Am I correct that you said
Yeah,
that?
I heard a whistle, yes.
Okay, so let's listen to it again and see if A, it stopped, and B, if a whistle was employed.
Can we stop this for a minute? I do have a question. Has this been doctored by him or altered? Because I don't hear me speaking either, or any of us. I don't hear any sounds other than the trolley moving, which that camera might be on the inside. But I'm not hearing any other sounds. And I don't know if he's put these titles on here or if this came this way.
So that's a question for him to answer.
Okay.
I've put the titles on there. The video is, there's two videos that I got. If it pleases the court, I will play the exact video for the court off my phone, which is the way I received it from the Hillsborough Transit Authority. This is the unedited version. The audio is on the inside of the streetcar, not on the outside. Yep.
Right, if you can come up here so we can all watch it at the same time.
Do you want the witnesses to come also?
Sure. You also, sir,
I don't need to. I can stay right here, unless you want me up there.
I'm just trying to be fair.
Okay.
You can stand over here, Kristen, behind me.
Okay, well, I can just stand over here. If this is going to be a problem, I'll just stand over here. I've seen the video several times. I had my hands-free on.
All right, sir, the video stopped.
Maybe because I shut off I had my hands-free in my pocket. Okay, sorry about that.
Are we viewing it again?
I think we are.
There's the rear video. I don't know if you want to see the rear video or not.
I think the front video is what you wanted me to see.
I think this establishes that this has not been doctored.
I've viewed the evidence and just please proceed.
Okay. Does the court need this?
If you want to need a copy. that's-
Yeah, this is an extra copy, and there's nothing else on there.
Yes. Once they receive, mark this as minutes 4.
Corporal Krouse, would you agree I entered or was going to enter the intersection before the streetcar?
I don't have an answer for him.
Okay, let me repeat the question. Would you agree that I entered or was going to enter the intersection before the streetcar?
Had I have not done multiple attempts to stop you, yes.
I don't think you understood the question.
I'm not going to answer his question.
I think you're
It's not
compelled to
being
answer this question. You're under subpoena, you're
I
under
don't
oath.
quite understand
I
the
have
question.
I have a right to due process under the U.S. Constitution and the Florida Constitution. It's a simple question. Would you agree that I was going to enter the intersection where you were? That's all.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm not trying to be combative with you. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. I have due process.
Okay.
And if you have a problem with me, I'm sorry.
Excuse me. If you'll direct your comments to me,
Okay.
that's the purpose of the hearing, not to argue with each other.
Okay. Would you agree, per the statute, that when two vehicles enter an intersection from different highways at the same time, the driver of the vehicle on the left shall yield the right-of-way to the vehicle on the right?
This is a hypothetical question. This is not a.
Sustained.
Well, it's not a hypothetical question. That's actually out of the statute. So the question that I have for you is, do you agree with the statute or do you disagree with the statute then?
Do I disagree with the statute that I cited you for?
No, it's not, that wasn't the question.
I don't, you need to explain which statute you're referring to.
Okay, Florida Statute 316.123, which is Chapter 316 of the State Uniform Traffic Control Statute. And if you go, I have copies here. May I give you a copy?
Excuse me, sir. I'm looking at the citation, and the section which you're cited with is not the section which you're citing to us now. So what's before us is the citation with the section which you're cited for violating. That's the section that's at issue.
Right, but the word yield is important in the citation.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
Okay. Okay, the citation states, and I'll stay with that theme, failure to yield to public transit vehicles, fail to yield to trolley. What's important here is the word despite. Multiple law enforcement officers directing him to stop, nearly causing a collision. The word despite
Sir, I'm reading the section on the citation, and I don't see the word despite.
it's there, Your Honor. If you look at,
We're looking at section 316.0815.
no, I'm looking at on the citation, it says despite.
Oh, I
That wasn't in, that's not in the statute. And although the officer wrote something that was not in the statute, Corporal Krouse used the word despite multiple law enforcement officers directing him to stop. So I'd like to stick with that word for one moment, which is defined as without being affected by or in spite of. And one example would be despite or in spite of our objections or demands, he insisted on driving or continuing. The video clearly shows that I stopped. The video clearly shows that I yielded. So for Corporal Krouse to have issued me a citation for failing to yield and or failing to stop, despite multiple law enforcement officers directing him to stop, is clearly, the evidence clearly shows otherwise. When drafting ordinances, laws regarding the traffic offense of failure to yield, the legislature and local rulemakers were not considering actions that have not been completed or may have been. None of the laws or ordinances dealing with traffic yielding state that a person may be cited based on incomplete actions. This video clearly shows, and my witnesses, that I indeed stopped fairly promptly, approximately 15 feet from where Deputy Ortiz ordered me to go. But because Corporal Krouse was standing between the orange cones, I had stopped. So clearly, I did not continue to go through, I stopped. Why I stopped is irrelevant at this moment, but I did stop and I did yield. The citation was issued out of retaliation for me saying to Corporal Krouse, there's no need to be rude. My witnesses, which have given affidavits, clearly said I stopped. The video shows clearly that I stopped. I was not moving in rapid fashion. I moved forward slowly, and you can see I applied my brakes one time and stopped. None of the laws or ordinances dealing with traffic state that a person may be cited based on incomplete actions. The legislature never contemplated or intended for citizens like myself to be issued citations for failing to possibly yield. Any citation such as this is based entirely on the speculative opinion of a law enforcement officer about what may have occurred, which is insufficient to support a finding that the completed offense, or the offense of failing to yield or stop, took place. The evidence in this case, in particular the video, is unambiguous in that it conclusively demonstrates that I stopped and I yielded. To reiterate, Corporal Krouse stated that the whistle, I called it a horn, but the transit authority calls it a whistle, did not go off. Clearly, the video shows, and we can look at it one last time, clearly shows that the streetcar did not stop. It did slow down, which is customary on days where the cruise ships are in town due to the volume of traffic of pedestrians and people and cars, people dropping other people off, etc. And it's customary for the streetcar operators, following their manual, which is following their manual, that particularly states that they must take due care. I would like to ask questions of the other officers, if I may,
Yes, sir.
when you're ready.
You go ahead, sir.
Okay. First, I do remember Deputy Neiman, is that correct, the
Yes, sir.
title? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the gentleman next to you there, he's Greek, I'm Greek, I'm going to forget your name.
Sorry, Antonitis.
Okay. So the question that I have for Deputy Neiman is, who have you spoken to about this case?
Your Honor, unfortunately, due to an active internal affairs investigation.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Pardon me?
Due to an active internal affairs investigation, I'm under oath and I am not allowed to speak of
Okay,
it.
fair enough. You obviously were at Terminal 2 by the Tampa Aquarium on January 21st, 2023, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
What color was my vehicle?
It appeared to be a blue color.
Okay, so does that video show that it's blue?
Sorry, it looked blue to me.
Okay.
Blue, dark gray.
And I don't mean to sound sarcastic,
No.
but I am colorblind for certain colors. Are you colorblind? Okay. Were you wearing, how many passengers were in my vehicle? Do you know?
No, sir.
Were you wearing a body camera that day?
Unfortunately, due to the active investigation right now, sir, I cannot answer that question.
Okay. Did I stop and yield that day?
You stopped when we put our hands up to advise you to stop.
Okay, but so the question that I have is, did I stop and did I yield?
When we told you to, yes.
Okay, forgive me, I don't mean to be confrontational, but if you wouldn't mind, a yes or no question. Did I stop and did
Yes.
I yield, no matter why I did it?
Yes.
Okay. Are you, why did I stop?
Because we advised you to stop.
Okay, so how do you know that that's the reason I stopped?
Object to the question, Your Honor. I don't understand where he's
Can
going.
you repeat the question, please?
Okay, I asked Deputy Neiman why I stopped.
And I answered that because we were telling you to stop.
I'll sustain the objection asked and answered.
Okay, so did I stop on my own?
I believe our hands coming up made you stop.
Okay. So in actual fact, you don't know what was in my mind at that moment when I stopped, correct?
Your Honor.
So sustained.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that?
Sustained. So sustain the objection.
Okay,
The question calls for state of mind of yourself, but she's not able to answer that.
okay. Well, the deputy had stated that I stopped because she put her hand up, or they put their hand up.
Then I'll say again, sustained, question asked and answered.
Okay, I'd like to cite, for the record, Supreme Court case of Florida, SC 05-134, which is Lynn versus Fossum, in this here. We hold that such testimony is inadmissible because it impermissibly permits opinions and creates the danger that testifying will serve as a conduit for the opinions of others. So,
Excuse me, sir, she didn't give an answer, so I think the case you're citing is not applicable.
well, when I asked why did I stop, the deputy stated, because we told you to stop.
Okay.
Okay, so my point is that none of the officers have definitive proof why I stopped, whether I stopped on my own or I was instructed to stop.
Do you have a copy of the case which you're citing too?
Yes.
Copy for the court?
I think I only brought one copy, but I might have another one here.
This is not the whole opinion.
No, I took the portion of that out, the relevant portion of the case.
You have the whole opinion?
Not with me, no.
Citing case law, usually you would hand the court a copy of the case law, including the entire opinion.
Okay, a few more questions. Deputy Neiman, do you know how fast the streetcar was traveling when it approached where you were standing?
No, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
No,
Okay. Did you hear the streetcar employ its warning whistle?
yes,
Did you see Deputy Ortiz directing traffic in the road?
I know that was his position.
Was Corporal Krouse blocking the entrance with her body and traffic cones on either side?
I don't know the direct position. I know cones are across the mouth of the driveway.
Okay, we'll look at that video again in a minute. Did you hear me say to to Corporal Krouse, there's no need to be rude?
Yes,
Did you hear Corporal Krouse say he's done?
again, sir, these are questions that we are in an active IE investigation. I cannot answer some of these questions.
Well, I'm here challenging a ticket, and I really don't want to have to take this to appeal this. So I think I'm at a little bit of a quandary, because some of these questions are relevant to this particular traffic citation.
I think she's citing a rule that she's following.
Okay.
She'll sustain the objection.
Okay, what rule might that be?
That would be a question for her.
What rule might that be?
I am bound by professional standards and policies and procedures at the sheriff's office that I am not at liberty to talk about some instances involving the case that's active.
Okay, I'm not being sarcastic, but my question is, do you know offhand what that rule might be?
No, sir. It's an oath that we take when we go in
Okay.
an investigation.
What was said after the incident?
Sir, I stayed at the mouth of the drive.
I'm sorry, my hearing might not be good.
Again, we can't discuss any of
Okay.
that part of, because of the active investigation.
Can I just clear, we can only talk about the offense that we're here for.
Correct.
Well, these are all items that are substantive to the reason we're here today. Okay, can we play that video one last time, please?
This will be last time.
Yes, sir.
I need to,
Oh, sorry.
if you have another, is that the same copy
Yeah,
as
no, there's the
that?
same one there, yeah. I do have other copies here.
That's all right, we'll use this one.
And then, I'll tell you what, before we play that, if I can ask a few questions of the deputy to the right?
Sorry, you want to ask another question? please?
Uh,
Sorry, you want to ask another question?
Deputy Antonides.
Antonitis.
Yes.
Okay. I should know that, but. Okay, before we play that, I'd like to ask Deputy Antonitis. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay, some questions. Okay? I'd like to submit to the court some still photographs.
At this point, I think
Deputy Antonides, did you hear a whistle go off on that video?
On this video, no, I did not.
Did you see the trolley or streetcar stop?
Not in this video completely. No, it slowed down.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to submit this for the record. These still photographs here where the officers were standing.
And show them first to the other side before handing them to the
There's one right there.
She's got one, sir.
Any objection? Right.
Okay.
What color is, which this you received?
Yes, please.
There's no objection? Oh, that's fine.
Deputy Antonides?
Yes, sir.
Am I correct, you're retired, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I'm a reserve deputy currently.
okay.
What time is it? It's 5.
So on, in that photograph there, Deputy Antonides, do you see Corporal Krouse standing in the middle of the roadway there, so between those cones blocking the entrance?
Yes, she's standing in that big gap between the cones, and there's the two cones that are right up against each other, and there's the other two that are in front of me. Deputy.
Okay, so am I correct that, I recognize you to the far left, am I correct? That
Yes.
is Deputy Neiman to the right there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I know that this is difficult to speak about other officers that you have to work with, but Deputy Antonides, did I yield and stop in the video?
You did, yes, you did stop in the video.
Okay. Did you hear Corporal Krouse say, I'm sorry, did you hear me say did you hear Corporal Krouse shout at me, you need to watch where you're going?
There was some comments made to the effect of pay attention to your driving.
Okay.
I don't recall exactly what statements were made.
Okay. Did you hear Corporal Krouse say, he's done?
I can't talk about that, John.
Is that the privilege that you're invoking?
It's not a privilege, sir. I'm not at liberty to discuss certain details of the traffic stop.
You lost me there, I'm sorry.
There are certain details and questions you're asking that I can't discuss, because I had signed an oath that I would not discuss the investigation.
Oh, okay, that's all I need to know. My apologies, and
No, sorry.
I was confused as to why you couldn't answer. Okay, I'd like to offer this next photograph.
Any objection? Being no objection, call appendix number 6.
Okay, in this particular photograph here, can you see Deputy Antonides and Deputy Neiman and Corporal Krouse that I am entering after the streetcar has passed?
That is your vehicle, that van or SUV? Yes.
Okay. And I don't know if I asked you this, maybe I asked Deputy Neiman this. Were you aware that Deputy Ortiz was directing traffic on the road?
He doesn't direct traffic. His job is to address every vehicle in the turn lane and tell Corporal Krouse and Deputy Neiman whether they are granted access to the driveway or not. Because the driveway is closed. So if he tells you you may enter, then he tells them they can enter. That's his specific job, sir.
Okay, so just so I can clarify, and I appreciate you being here tonight and sorry we had to drag you into this. Well, I didn't drag you in, but Corporal Krouse brought you in as a witness. So am I correct in assuming that that entrance was essentially closed until access was granted to vehicles? Am I correct?
Yes,
Okay. So am I correct in saying that no matter what vehicle, whether it's my vehicle or any other vehicle that wanted to enter Cruise Terminal 2 or where the Tampa Aquarium is, would have been stopped?
yes, it would have been stopped, and Deputy Ortiz would have required us to state your businesses to obtaining access to the driveway because the terminal was closed during debarkation.
Okay, okay. Now, some of these things are starting to make a little bit of sense. So if Deputy Ortiz, let me tell you, I asked Deputy Ortiz, where can I go to drop off my mother-in-law because she's disabled? Deputy Ortiz said, I said, where can I go to the aquarium to drop her off and then I'll go park the car? And then Deputy Ortiz instructed me with my three passengers, go right that way. When I saw Corporal Krouse standing in the middle there, which was blocking the entrance, I had stated to Deputy Ortiz, are you sure that's the way I go? And he said, yes, go that way. And as I started to go, I was stopped as any other vehicle may have been stopped. Would that be a correct, the last question is that would it, I think you've already answered it, so, that all vehicles would have been stopped due to the entrance being, sorry, let me rephrase that. All vehicles would have had to have had access prior to entry there, so it was not only my vehicle that was singled out. Other vehicles would have been stopped as well, correct?
Yes, in the turn lane, I believe that's where he came from, the left turn lane.
Okay. May I ask the same question of Deputy Neiman?
What was the question?
Okay, so the question I guess, because I'd rather get it from everyone here, rather than just Deputy Antonitis, okay? Deputy Antonitis said that the entrance to Terminal 2, where the aquarium is, all vehicles, sorry, that entrance there was blocked and required access and/or permission from either yourself, Deputy Neiman, or Corporal Krouse. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So would you have, I think that's answered, asked and answered. Okay. How long was that entrance closed for traffic or required entry that morning? Just more or less.
Who's the question directed to?
I'm sorry, pardon me. Deputy Neiman.
It's closed from the time that we start debarkation until debarkation is over.
And just an estimation, how long does that
So
debarkation?
it varies.
I'm sorry?
It varies.
A couple hours, 3 hours, 4 hours?
It depends. I can't give a specified number.
Did you see, Deputy Neiman, did you see in the video, and we don't need to play it again, did you see Deputy Ortiz pointing and directing me which way to travel? If I fail to stop, Deputy Neiman, if I fail to stop and fail to yield, then how could I have allowed the streetcar to pass and then proceed after the streetcar passed?
or is this a hypothetical question, sir?
No, this is a question. If I fail to yield, or I fail to stop, then how could I have allowed the streetcar to pass, and then I proceed behind the streetcar after it passed into the the Krouse terminal to aquarium area, if I did not stop?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. I've already answered the question.
Okay. I'm gonna do my closing statement?
Well,
Unless-
It's not your turn yet.
Oh, I'm
You're
sorry.
finished.
Okay.
Are you saying you're finished with your defense
Uh,
for now?
For now, I'm finished with my defense, yes.
Okay, so now would be their side to give rebuttal evidence if they wish to, and then after that time passes, then you can vote, both sides would give closing argument.
Okay.
So, are you finished with your defense?
For the moment, yes.
All right, but you're finished entering evidence, correct?
I don't believe I have any other evidence that, well, I do actually have some more relevance questions, evidence. Let me submit some more evidence, because this may become an issue in the future. This is a copy of the David report where Corporal Desirae Grace Krouse accessed the David system. I'd like to submit this as evidence. Would you like to see a copy of that? One for the court. Evidence, please.
Is there any objection?
Nope.
Okay, without objection, this will be received as defendant's number 6.
I'd like to submit this as evidence. Which was that statute that we quoted earlier.
And just say the court will take judicial notice.
I'd like
What
the court,
section is that, please?
I'm sorry?
What section is that, please?
This is section, well, this is what's on the statute, on the citation.
Okay, this is going to be on the citation is section 316.0815, paragraph 1.
Correct. However, I'd like to put it in evidence because the citation quotes that particular statute. However, it does not coincide with the statute.
I'm already taking judicial notice of the section that's cited in the citation, so
Okay.
that need not be received as evidence.
I believe that's all the evidence that I will be submitting today.
All right, so you're finished, now it's your turn for rebuttal if you wish.
What was the purpose of the David? Was there a question regarding this? What was the purpose?
No, there's
of
no
this?
question. I'd like, okay, let me ask you a question then, since you brought that up. Did you ask, I did ask the question earlier, and I don't know if you caught it, but my question earlier was, did you access the David system?
Yes. That was,
Right, if you go to the last page,
that's the, I don't know.
that's where you ran my information.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted that in the record.
All right, I think you're finished with your case in chief for the defense, and now you have to decide, you have rebuttal, time to rebut, if any evidence you feel necessary to rebut.
The video, because he was doctored, and obviously there was no sound heard from the outside of the trolley.
Okay, anything else? Okay. So, do the parties wish to give closing
Yes, I would object to the due process rights that I've not been able to get questions answered by the prosecution and/or the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office due to them invoking their right because there is an active internal affairs investigation. I'd like that on the record. Okay, based on my defense presented here today, the clear and convincing video evidence, I would state that my rights were violated. Corporal Krouse did not have probable cause to stop me and get in my face. Corporal Krouse violated my Fourth Amendment rights by threatening to arrest me for obstruction, which under duress and threat of arrest, I was forced to give my license. There was no probable cause. Corporal Krouse failed to follow Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office policies and laws during our interaction. I believe that Corporal Krouse has made statements that are inconsistent with Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office policies. Corporal Krouse retaliated against me for exercising my First Amendment rights to free speech when I simply stated there was no need for her to be rude. The stop was an unlawful traffic stop. I believe that the evidence clearly shows that I stopped, I yielded, and from the testimony we received today from the deputies or the representatives here of Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, that entrance area there was closed to traffic anyhow. I was instructed by Deputy Ortiz to travel forward, and if I gather correctly what Deputy Antonitis said, that Deputy Ortiz would instruct a vehicle to go, and then Corporal Krouse and or Corporal Neiman and possibly, Deputy Neiman and Deputy Antonitis would have to allow access. The video clearly shows, and so there's still photographs there, that I stopped and yielded. I did not move very fast. The streetcar has to follow the same rules and regulations as regular vehicles. I entered the intersection prior to the streetcar. It does not operate as a locomotive, as Mr. Antonitis, Deputy Antonitis had stated. It must follow all the traffic rules, and the traffic rules of the Hillsborough Transit Authority clearly state that they must take due care. And I moved the court to dismiss the citation as it was an unlawful traffic stop that had no probable cause. I did not commit a traffic violation, and it is obvious from the evidence that the officer, forgive me, that the officer, not the officer, the corporal, Corporal Krouse lied. The evidence presented to here supports a dismissal of this action. Thank you.
As far as the motion to dismiss, I'll say that's denied.
Okay.
Okay. As for the citation before us, as to failure to yield, applying citation has been approved beyond a reasonable doubt. I'd like to see the right history now, please.
I would ask the court to withhold adjudication, please.
Ask the bailiff to hand you this copy so you can have it for your own records. I always think it's helpful to hand you a copy of the driving record so you can see your record yourself. With the exception of the moving violation before this, can I see it again, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't happen to have a copy of that, do you?
I'm gonna let you keep
Oh,
this.
okay. Okay.
But I was trying to say, with the exception of the August 22 issue, there's really been nothing since 2011. So I really look at the last 5 years to see if there's a driver in front of me and whether driving school is indicated or not, because that's
Thank you.
Welcome to a meeting of your Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners. Representing District 1, Harry Cohen. Representing District 2, Ken Hagan. Representing District 3, Gwen Myers. Representing District 4, Michael Owen. Representing District 5, Donna Cameron Cepeda. Representing District 6, Pat Kemp. Representing District 7, Joshua Wostel. The County Administrator is Bonnie Wise. The County Attorney is Christine Beck. Time is set aside at the beginning of each meeting.
Paises, I apologize if I misspoke. Morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Spiro S.C. Pazes, and I'm a multi-licensed contractor through the DBPR. The Tyree Nickel case shows how important body cameras are when it comes to police accountability. I'm also an advocate for and to protect law enforcement. I have family and a business partner who are veteran officers. My friend and fellow instructor, Cincinnati police officer Sonny Kim, was murdered a few days after our last training session by an anti-law enforcement coward. To complain about an officer is something I do with great reluctance. I'm here to bring to your attention Corporal Desirae Krouse's refusal to activate her body camera. On Saturday, January 21st, 2023, my family and I had the most distasteful and appalling experience with Corporal Desirae Krouse at the Tampa Aquarium entrance. I've emailed you my complaint. I'm here to report to you that the body camera program failed due to Corporal Desirae Krouse's refusal to put her body camera on, even after I asked her twice during her vicious tirade. I'm here to report to you these facts. The body camera program, its huge investment, is of no use when Corporal Desirae Krouse adamantly refused to follow policy and training. After being directed to go toward the drop-off by another deputy, we were confronted by an angry and unhinged Corporal Desirae Krouse. After passing Corporal Desirae Krouse, she shouted, "Watch where you're going." I simply stated, "There's no need to be rude." To which Corporal Desirae Krouse became enraged. I requested a supervisor 9 times to no avail. How dare I simply state, "There's no need to be rude." If this is all that it takes to set off Corporal Desirae Krouse, then we're all in some serious trouble. I lived in South Africa during apartheid. This is Tampa, Florida, not Johannesburg. You cannot train, retrain anger, rage, rudeness, discourtesy, and evil out of an officer. These are inherent qualities and characteristics. Corporal Desirae Krouse is a dangerous individual operating under the color of law. She was already trained how to behave and to turn on her body camera. I made public records requests for the records, including any body cam footage, to which Billy Krouse of the Sheriff's Office called me and adamantly told me I was not entitled to the information. I quoted Chapter 119 of the Florida statutes to no avail. I filed an internal affairs complaint. We'll see what happens. So I asked the commissioners and administration, will Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office be all over the news next when Corporal Desirae Krouse decides to shut off her body camera off when a citizen is rude or profane, and instill her form of street justice as the Tyree, Nichols, and many, many other cases? I'm asking you to investigate the situation. Let's not be on the news because of Corporal Desirae Krouse's defiance not to follow policy and procedures. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pazes.